This podcast is intended for an adult audience over the age of 18. It contains explicit language and sexual situations. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed belong to us and are not representative of any employer, organization, or other individual. We are not experts. This podcast is not intended to be taken as professional advice.
Welcome.
Our safe word is pineapples.
I'm Dan.
I'm Sue.
Come with us as we navigate the lifestyle,
discover kinks,
and share what we've learned along the way. Yay, we're back.
We are.
Yes, episode 7 now. We did it. We made it to episode 7. And we're going to talk about parties and you at parties, but we're also going to talk about very topical information because I just recently went and got my full barrage of STI tests.
Yep.
It was not the worst thing in the world. It's not the best thing in the world. I mean, no one likes going to the doctors and be like, hey, let's go do this, but it has to be done. And I tell you this as someone who, I don't mind going to doctors, but I don't like needles at all. I hate needles, which, you know, everyone goes, oh, would you have tattoos? Tattoos are not the same thing. Tattoos don't take away from me. They're not like removing stuff from my body. They're giving me beautiful pictures that I like to have in my body. But you have to get your STI test, especially if you're going to be in a lifestyle. It's a very important thing to do. Everyone should be getting them, and they should be getting them on a regular basis so that we are not just keeping ourselves protected and safe, but keeping everyone that we play with and everyone we interact with safe as possible.
Yes.
So I went in, and one thing that comes up a lot when I talk to new people about the lifestyle is they're afraid to talk to their doctors. They're afraid to tell their doctors that they're in non-monogamous situations with their relationship because they don't want their doctors, quote, judging them for their lifestyles. Mm-hmm. And that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. If you have a doctor that is judging you for your lifestyle,
if you can, get a new doctor.
Get a new doctor. You need to be as honest as possible. And I learned this when I was growing up. My mom would always be like, don't tell the doctor this or don't tell them that for whatever stupid ass reason. But as I grew up, I realized that the more I tell my doctor,
the more they can help you.
The better health care I get. The more they go, hey, you need to have maybe this test, or you need to do this. And that's exactly what happened with this. I went in for my usual STI tests, and I thought, well, you know, I'm just going to go get the urine test and the blood test, because that's what I normally get. Talking to I actually have a new doctor this time. I was talking to her, and she goes, it says here you're bisexual. I said, yes, I am bisexual. She goes, do you have anal sex? I was like, well, I really recently started having anal sex, you know, with other males. And she goes, you should do an anal test. And I was like, I didn't know that existed. So she goes, well, it does. And we're going to do one today. I was like, sounds good. Let's get that done. And she goes, being in the lifestyle too, she said, have you ever had a hepatitis A shot? And I go, not that I know of. We're going to do that too. So I go, oh, yay, we're getting all the needles today, aren't we? we're just having a blast, having a needle party today. I'm so excited. I am not excited at all whatsoever.
But you did it.
I did it. I was very proud of myself, and you were proud of me too, because I did it by myself.
Because you were all alone.
I didn't have you to help me with the vampires.
I was not there.
You were not there. So I go in, and she gets she gets the nurse to come in and give me my hepatitis A shot, which, you know, she goes, "Did you have a preference on what arm?" And I was like, "Well, will it affect, you know, where they take the blood from me?" And she goes, "Nope, won't affect it at all." So I said, "Well, I'm right-handed, so I'd rather have shots in my left arm because if it's going to have any sort of reaction, like a pain or anything like that, I'd like to have it in my left arm because then I can still use my right arm, which is, you know, my dominant hand."
Right.
She comes in, gets my shot. Not bad. Really not bad at all. I'm getting a lot better at not flexing. Like, I guess my body naturally flexes, and I'm getting a lot better just like relaxing. And I always tell them, any nurse that's going to take blood from me or give me a shot, I tell them, don't tell me. Like, don't show me the needle. I don't care. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be involved in the process at all. You can just swab me up and stab me, and we can get done with this. It'll be over with. So I talked to the doctor. I go, okay, so what's next? We doing the urine test or anything like that? She goes, no, you'll do the urine test down when you get your blood done. And I was like, okay. She goes, we got to do the anal test now. I was like, okay. So I'm getting ready for this. And she goes, here you go. I go, excuse me? She goes, you do it on yourself because that's a sensitive area. I was like, oh, okay. So she shows me how to do it. She pulls out the longest Q-tip I've ever seen in my life. And she goes, all you gotta do, just stick it on up there, about an inch or so, swirl it around a little bit, and then you're going to put it in this tube and break off the tube, the stick in the tube, and then cover it. And then she says, don't worry, we labeled them so we can't get them mixed up. I'm like, well, thank God. I don't know how you would do this. Now, anyone, and I say this for women too, so you should probably have one as well.
When you go,
yes. You're going to make sure you have one as well. Women and men, anyone who does have anal sex, you should get the anal STI test as well. It's super important because I found out there are like STIs that can be transmitted that way that won't necessarily be caught on the other tests as well. That's why I had the test done. On that note, for anyone who has had anal sex, we all know that one of the major things of anal sex is lube. And everyone goes, lube it all up. Make sure you have lube. There's no lube with this Q-tip. This giant Q-tip has no lube whatsoever. It is just and it's like the driest Q-tip I've ever encountered in my life. So I'm in the room by myself trying to stick the dry ass Q-tip up my ass.
I still have no sympathy.
I don't know why you have no sympathy for me.
I know why I have no sympathy for you.
You have no sympathy for me? Is it because
it's because I get a pap smear.
I don't know what pap smears involve. I'm a guy. I have no idea what pap smears involve. I just know they do it. To me, honestly, 100%, in my mind, it sounds like they're smearing jelly on you. That's all it sounds like. Because it's like a pap smear, and I was like, there you go. And I know like stuff like bagels and schmear. Like, that's where my... And I try not to think about it.
This is why the Bad Women's Anatomy subreddit exists.
I'm sorry. It's not something they teach us in school.
No, it is. It is not. It is not something they teach us.
They should. I would love to learn about it. From what I gather, it's horrible, and
it's not. It's not that it's horrible. I would just argue that having your cervix scraped so the tissue can be tested is, I don't know.
Is it a dry ass Q-tip?
It's a brush. They stick a brush.
It's a brush?
It's a brush.
Is it like a bottle brush?
Kind of. I mean, it's not, but kind of when you look at it.
I wouldn't look at it if I was a woman. See, it's just like needles. I feel like
they display it for you.
I know. Why do doctors do this? It's like that scene in Batman where they show him all the things. And they're like, what are we going to do to the Joker now? We're going to do these all instruments to his body.
It really is. But yeah, so no, it's not a dry Q-tip.
Okay. But let me tell you, for also people who do anal sex, you prepare, with cleansing. I was not prepared, so this Q-tip didn't come out fully clean.
No, it's not going to.
I put it in the liquid and everything, and I was just looking at the 2 tubes and I was like, well, thank God they labeled them.
I also
Oh, I did I did the throat swab too, because
Yes.
that's the other tube was the throat swab. So I was like, thank God they labeled them, because if they think that came out of my throat,
oh God,
there's a problem.
there's a huge problem.
So then I went and, I went downstairs because it's a different area for the lab. And I went downstairs and they had to sign me and everything like that. And they're like, are you fasting? And I was like, no, I was.
Which is a standard question.
It's a standard question, but I can never remember. Like, you should fast, they say, which is just, you should just have water and no food whatsoever for like 8 hours beforehand. But I can never remember, and I just wake up in the morning and then I have breakfast, and then I go, oh shit, I should have fasted. I was supposed to fast. But it doesn't actually affect the test. They just have to do different things. And I informed her that she has to put me in the system, because I'm not fully in the system yet, because I'm literally walking down the stairs, so it hadn't gotten to them yet, all my information, but it was in there. She just had to type in a bunch of stuff. And I turned to her and I say, so I'm also supposed to do the urine test down here? And she goes, do you have to go now? Because if you do, I can brush this forward. I'd be like, that'd be nice, because I was preparing to go upstairs, so I had a lot of water before I came here. And she got me through fast. And I don't know about you, but you get that urine thing and you're supposed to take the test, and I never know how much I'm supposed to give them, and I'm always afraid of giving them too little.
So, having been pregnant 4 times,
you were pregnant 4 times.
Yes. You pee in the cup a lot.
Yeah, you do. You peed in the cup all the time.
Don't actually need that much.
But
maybe like a finger's width.
But a line on the cup would be nice.
A line on the cup would be nice. I think we would all be a little reassured if there was a line on the cup.
I filled it. I was just like,
you don't need to fill it.
I was like, we're going to give them as much as I can. That way they don't need to come back and ask for more, because by then I'm not going to have to pee again. That's the way I think.
Yeah.
And so then they go, okay, go sit in the waiting room. And I go sit in the waiting room, and it's still set up for COVID. So it's a lot of waiting rooms, actually. A lot of doctors' waiting rooms I've been in are still kind of set up for COVID, where like the seats are 6 feet apart. So there's this large, somewhat empty room, and there's like 6 chairs in it. They're all like 6 feet apart. So I'm just sitting there in this room going, there's no one else here. It's just me in this empty waiting room waiting. And then they come in, they yell for me, and I'm just the only one there. So they're like, Daniel. And I was like, that's me coming through. And bless her heart, the nurse was very nice to me, and I informed her, like, look, I don't like needles, so I want to see it. You don't have to show me, because they sometimes they do that to reassure. I understand that, it's only a little needle and stuff like that. I don't need to see it. Don't show me. I'm just gonna turn my head over here. I'm gonna pay attention over here to literally the wall. Actually, there was a SpongeBob cartoon on the wall, which I read probably about 8 times in the time it took her to take the blood from me. And luckily I have really good veins too, so it didn't take too long. And actually this time it didn't hurt as much. Again, I think I'm not tensing as much.
That's good.
It didn't really hurt as much.
It's always a bonus.
But the same thing I always think whenever I get blood taken is, good God, how much do you need? Why do you need so much? They're just like, and there's another one. There's another vial. Like, I'm counting. It's like 5 vials she takes out of me. Like, how many do you need? And I've come to a conclusion that they're cloning me. Slowly over the years, nurses and doctors are cloning me. And that's why there's doppelgangers in the world. That's it. That's my conspiracy theory. You have a doppelganger because they've cloned you so many times. And in case you get super sick, there's your organ match right there. You have to find that doppelganger somewhere in the world. It's completely logical.
Oh my god.
That's why you love me. And that was it. I had my test done. And it was fantastic. And it was awesome. And we got the test done. And I got my test results back. And I am negative for everything. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
And we'll do it again soon.
Right? Yeah, because I go to the doctor.
You go to the doctor, you're going to have the same
in May
stuff done?
And again in June, because, I got to go to 2 different doctors.
Oh, that's right. You got to go to the vagina doctor.
And then
Where they take like the umbrella and they just go and they look and stuff. They have the miner's hat on. Is that?
Oh my god.
Tinkering around in there.
Just like that. Just like that.
That's
so
always how I've envisioned it. Like I've never
so
actually.
Much fun.
I can't be there for you anymore because you're not pregnant. When you were pregnant, I was able to go in there and
which
I could sit in the room and do my best not to make your doctor laugh. I can't help it. When I get nervous, I just tell jokes and have no filter and whatnot, and it can get me in trouble at times.
It can get you in trouble.
But your doctor loves me, so
yes.
But you get to go have yours done, and I do again. You have anal sex. I recommend you getting the anal done. And anyone else, male or female, I don't care. You have anal sex, get the anal STI test done.
Yes.
For your safety and your peace of mind and everyone else's that you play with as well. Because, again, it may not seem like it. You may have a small group of people that you play with, but maybe someone in that group plays with other people as well, and it can just exponentially multiply from there the number of partners that you could be exposed to, and you just want to make sure everyone is safe. It is swinging is kind of a calculated risk. There's a possibility we do get some. Luckily now we live in a time when most STIs are either curable or treatable or manageable, but it's still the possibility there. Nothing, even condoms, they're not 100%. You want to make sure that you're doing everything that you can while you're out there.
To keep yourself safe.
Keep yourself safe. I want to keep you safe because I love you. And I want to keep me safe because I love me. I know it's a little narcissistic, but I don't care.
Well, I mean, you do need to...
I do love myself. And you need to love yourself. It's important. Love yourself.
Right.
Love yourself first, and then, make sure you love everyone around you as well. Share that love.
Share love.
By swinging. No. Not necessarily. And now we get to...
Right, now we're going to segue. Very smoothly.
Super smooth segue into parties with a demisexual.
That's right. House parties and swinging clubs as a demisexual.
House parties with someone who doesn't want to talk to anyone and doesn't like being around crowds. Go for it. You got it.
And is demisexual, which requires a connection to feel attraction. So...
You got the whole shebang.
It is an uphill battle.
You are the whole package.
All the contradictions. Right, and...
Well, some of that is helped by me. You have me there, too, so...
Some of it is helped by you. I mean, we have been asked...
yeah, we have been asked, how do you do it?
A number of times, how do I do it? How do I handle it? And I think everybody's looking for very, concise answer.
Well, everyone looks for black and white, and the world is not black and white.
The world is not black and white. It's just
every instance you're with is a different instance, so you're different levels of comfort as well when you go to
right. Yes, but there is because I've thought about it, and it's always very hard for me to explain. So no. I am not attracted to or aroused by strangers and people I don't know. I do have to get to know them. I do have to develop a connection before I start to feel attraction or arousal. That being said, and this was a large part of the confusion and for myself in determining that yes, I am definitely a demisexual, is the fact that the demisexuality falls under the asexuality like banner, and I enjoy sex.
Yeah, you're definitely not asexual.
I am definitely not asexual. So it lends itself to some confusion when you're trying to determine, what exactly is going on with yourself, and you're looking at these like little boxes of where do I fit in. But sex for me isn't all about attraction and arousal either. A lot of it is about like the sensations and the feelings and the experiences. And yes, orgasms are definitely like a goal.
Well, you're welcome. I'll do my best to give you as many as possible.
I love having orgasms. Them in and of themselves, they are their own unique experiences and sensations, and no two orgasms are exactly the same.
Fireworks.
Right? But going to like the house parties or going to the clubs, instead of focusing on whether or not I'm going to be attracted to people or be aroused by people, because I already know I'm not.
No.
I'm not going to be. I focus more on, well, does this person make me feel safe? And, do I feel like they'll respect the boundaries that we have? Or,
Oh, yeah, you can tell because we have some specific boundaries that we have. So whenever we go to like a party, we bring our own kit. We bring our own stuff because of the boundaries we have. Like you have a latex allergy. You have an allergy to semen. You cannot have semen inside of you and even on you.
It needs to be cleaned off.
It needs to be cleaned off very quickly, because if you do have it on you for a long time, it's a rash.
It's only a couple of minutes.
And internally is even worse.
And yes, internally is much worse. So, these things, and, do I feel comfortable in like the interactions that we've had? Do I feel, secure in that they're going to follow like our limits, the boundaries that we've established?
We are very clear about them.
From there, it's more of a focus on the sensation. So it's almost like a BDSM sensation play.
I like sensation play.
Yeah, than it is like a traditional sexual arousal situation.
So what you're saying is you're not going in there going, well, I find this guy super hot, I'm going to go and fuck him. You're going in there like, well, we talked to him and he seems a nice guy. He's attractive. I mean, you just feel attraction. That's another thing too. You're not like saying you don't feel any sort of attraction whatsoever. Like I don't feel any sort of attraction. You don't feel any sort of attraction? Wow.
Not until like
the more you learn.
I don't.
I'm pretty sure I forget that stuff.
Yeah. Like it's.
Well, no, I'm saying is that like, okay, no, I'm not saying like physical attraction. Like I'm just saying you do have types and you do have standards that you are going to go for. Like if someone came up and was like grossly overweight or something like that, you would be like, I'm not really going to go forward with this, or something that you don't find you would like in a partner at all. Yes?
I don't know. I mean, if they hadn't bathed, smells a problem.
Yeah, it smells a problem for
you. Because I'm very sensitive to like strong smells, but really
no.
As far as like physical attributes, there really aren't not a whole
lot that you. Oh, okay. Hey, listen, I learned this stuff as I go. You really, you coming out as demisexual to yourself and to me, and really delving into it, I've learned a whole lot more about you.
Yeah, I still get confused by the fact that like people have types. That still just blows my mind on a regular basis. I have types. You have types. I do not.
I'm sorry. You almost make it sound like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just something you don't fully understand, and I can understand that. But to me, I can't understand that you don't really have a type, which, I've been like, am I your type? You're like, well, yeah, because I'm with you. That makes you my type. And
exactly.
I was like, okay. And then I start looking at myself going, what is it about me that she likes? Is it Is it the height? It's the super tallness. I'm 5'4", so we gotta think
You tower over
giant.
me by almost 4 inches.
Almost 4 inches. That is impressive.
Right?
That's almost the average size of the male penis. Between us. Almost.
But yeah, so no, I mean, it's very much focusing on, like,
sensations. And I do my best to give you all the good
sensations
sensations as I can.
And, making sure that we've established that this person's going to follow.
We also don't... Okay, so we also... When we go to parties, we always go for foreplay first. We don't jump right into...
Sometimes we do end up jumping right in, which is a large part of why it's more of a... For me, it's a more focus on sensation than... Like, we try to when we...
I'd say more often than not, we don't jump right in. We just try to go for some foreplay, or at least some sort of, like... getting to know each other's bodies and whatnot, and before we just go right into the fucking, is what I'm saying, like oral sex and everything like that, and kissing and everything like that.
A number of the last parties.
Well, this is new stuff. We are entering. we enter new territory. We go to different kinds of parties now than we used to.
We've slowly been.
We made our mistakes with parties when we first started. For parties.
And again, a lot of that does, like, go back to the fact that I am uncomfortable in groups of people that I don't know. So as we've made our foray into, like, house parties, it's been a matter of, like, well, how do we make this better? So, because even, like, when we go to almost every house party we've gone to, we've kind of already known somebody there.
Yes.
Even, like, we've been to a couple of, like, swingers clubs, but we've always gone with friends. We have
yet to go on our own yet. I'd like to go on our own, but it's a lot of it's a matter of time and stuff like that. We just can't.
In advance kind of give me this built-in sort of security. But that built-in sort of security isn't a guarantee, which is what we found with, like, the first house parties that we were going to. Just because we think we know somebody doesn't mean we
went in with the thinking we knew the host and everything like that as well, like fairly well, and we didn't. And
right, and it just became, as each consecutive house party we attended, it became more obvious.
Well, it became obvious that the host was not vetting anyone. There was just random people showing up, and again, like, anyone who likes having some alcohol or a couple of drinks is fine. I understand that a lot of people get nervous and they use alcohol to calm themselves, and that's fine. But when it gets to excess, 3 of the house parties with this group that we were at, that we went to, ended up in an alcohol-related incident.
Right, there was an alcohol-related incident at each party.
At each party, and it was due to unregulated alcohol. There was just... people were able to get as drunk as possible, and then that really pushed us to not want to be there. So we'll talk about, like, the worst episode.
Well, that was not the worst.
It wasn't the worst, but it was the most memorable. How's that?
The most memorable. We can start.
It was talked about.
It was talked about. I mean,
technically... So the first episode that we came across was there was a woman who was there at one of the parties, and she was
nervous.
She was very nervous, so she started trying to calm her nerves with alcohol.
And didn't stop.
Ended up blacking out at the party and getting sick and stuff like that. So thankfully we ended up leaving early that party because we couldn't stay anyway.
Yeah, we couldn't stay. So
but we did meet some people at that party that we ended up are friends now. They're friends with us now. So this wasn't terrible.
It wasn't a loss.
The second incident, God, I don't even remember what the second incident was at this point. I know it was alcohol related.
No, that was...
Was that the...
Yeah, that was the second one.
The third one was the... Okay, yeah. The second one was the Colombian explosion.
The second one was the Colombian explosion.
We call it the Colombian explosion because the woman involved was Colombian. That's why it's called the Colombian explosion, and it is a tale to tell. So there was a couple at this party that
unbeknownst to us, they
they
had come to the party because the wife had a
threesome with two guys,
her
husband and another guy,
and they'd come to the party so that he could be with another woman because it was only fair.
And that is the wrong thing to do.
It is very wrong.
Now, there are people in the swinging community who will do equal and opposite, but they do it together. They work together to do equal. So say like I go and I get a blowjob from another woman. Well, okay, next party we're going to make sure that you have a guy go down on you.
Right.
Something like that. But we're working together to do that. This was not a working together situation. This was a quid pro quo.
Yes.
You got to have this, so I get to have that.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that. So he talked to me alone. We were talking to me, and he talked up a good game. And he essentially bullshitted me, and I didn't catch it. Some of it was because I was thinking with my dick.
You were
his wife was pretty hot.
She was very hot.
She was a very hot woman, so I was thinking with my dick. And this is where we get into problems.
Right.
So he said that they were looking for a couple swap. And I said, well, I'll talk to Sue and see if she's interested, and we can go from there. I talked to you, and you said...
I was actually quite surprised because having watched them throughout the party... The wife didn't come across as being interested.
No, not at all.
At all.
But I missed that because I was staring at her tits. So, again, thinking with my dick. This is what happens. So, we go, sure, we'll do this. We go upstairs, 2 couples. Now, you and him got naked on the bed.
Well, before that, she said she just wanted to watch.
Oh, yeah, before that, while you were getting naked on the bed, I was... so how are we going to do this? And she said to me, she just wants to watch. Okay, that's fine. She said, I want to watch at first, and then, we'll move into, like, getting in there. And I was like, okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with a partner who wants to watch, and get on. He was not getting it up. At all.
Didn't matter what I was doing.
You were blowing him, you were grinding on him, nothing. Could not get on. The wife
asked her.
Yeah, you asked her and I asked her. I was like, do you want to get in there and help? At least, have some fun, play with your husband and see if you can help get things going. Mm-hmm. Right? Because, we all want to make sure everyone's having a good time. A lot of guys experience, especially when they're with a new person, they experience some erectile issues. Getting it up, a lot of it, more often than not, is just nerves. Could have been alcohol and nerves. There's a number of reasons why it could have happened. So we're thinking, maybe the wife gets in there and he's got someone he's comfortable with and knows, and she's helping him out and getting things going. She says, no, I just want to watch. Okay. You're still trying your best. Nothing's happening. Nothing's working. And then the wife turned to me and said, I just want to go and get my drink. She said, I want to get my drink. I'll be right back.
At which point,
another couple had come in. And there was another couple in there, and they were playing around. They're like, hey, do you mind if we play with each other and watch at the same time? And we were like, no, they were off on the corner. They were off on the side.
Off on the side, doing their thing with each other.
But
I stopped.
You stopped because you told me, you turned to me and you said, hey, do you want to lick my pussy? Because I need to get some wetness going on here. Not much is going on with this guy. At least we can get some wetness going on. We can get other things going. Maybe, who knows? Maybe him seeing us playing together was going to get him going. Things like that have happened before. So I start going down on you. As I'm going down on you, this whirlwind of sound. It was just like and next thing I know, wine is being thrown at the bed onto him. Mm-hmm. he's getting off the bed. She starts yelling at him. How could you do this to me? I want a divorce. Oh my. Now, she starts beating the hell out of him, just slapping him and hitting him.
And he took it.
He took it. And
he took it.
He's
and
pushing her out of the room.
Yeah, he's just trying to herd her
to
out
get
of
her
the
to
room.
the bathroom. And the other couple that was there. Now, the other couple were in the middle of, she was on her knees giving him a blowjob. So I look over at them. She's sitting there on her knees. She's holding her boyfriend's cock in her hand. And she's like just about to put it in her mouth. But she's now like looking out the side of her mouth, shocked face. Like the both of them have this shocked face. And we all, the four of us turn to each other and go, what the fuck just happened? What happened? Because we don't know. You know, she's, the other couple, the Colombian woman and her husband, they're in the bathroom and she's beating the hell out of him. She's slapping him and then they leave. They walk out. They walk out of the house and, you know, we close the door and we're like, well, I'm still kind of horny. Are you guys still kind of horny? Do you want to play with the couple where she was giving you a blowjob? And they're like, sure. Why not? You know? And we had fun with the other couple.
We did.
Why not? I mean, they were there. We were there. We're all horny. We're mostly naked.
We did have to clean up.
We had to clean up the wine.
We had to clean up the wine a little bit.
Which thankfully the husband of the Colombian woman gave us a towel to do so. So on his way to not getting his ass kicked. And then they walked out. And we're having fun with the other couple. And next thing I know, one of the women that's helping to run the party bursts into the room. And she's like, everyone's got to stop. The cops have been called. What is going on now? Come to find out, the Colombian woman is like chasing her husband down the street. It's like 2 a.m. She's chasing him down the street, still beating the hell out of him.
So that the host of the party ended up being the one who called the cops.
Yeah. It wasn't just her, come to find out. Because the best part about this story is we play with a guy who happens to be a lawyer in this area. And we didn't know anything. We were just describing the story to him, just like we described it to you guys. And he goes, this sounds familiar. What was her name? And we had, at the time, we remembered her name. And we told him, and he looks it up. He's like, I know this case. It's in my office. He goes, she was arrested. And she's in the process of being deported.
For her, there is a happy ending. Charges were dropped.
Charges were dropped. Her husband dropped all the charges and everything like that, a spousal abuse. But, like, that's probably one of the craziest things that's ever happened to us.
Yes.
At a party. That's what we call it, the Colombian explosion. Like, to this day, it still shocks me when I think about it.
Yes. It does. It still shocks me a great deal.
It's still hilariously weird, though.
It is. But I mean, when I think back on it, there's a part of me that can't help but wonder, like, was it... it couldn't have been fully premeditated, but to some degree, it feels premeditated.
The other thing about this is when we really started recognizing that the host of the parties was not vetting people, because she didn't know anything about these people when
Nobody
they came
knew.
in. No one knew them. No one knew anything about them.
Nobody knew how they had found out about the party or how they had gotten there.
Nope. They were just random people that were at this party. So that's really what started pushing us away from this group and into like other parties.
Yes.
And we held off on house parties for a while after that.
We did. Because we wanted to be a little more cautious. I needed to be a little more cautious.
You need to be more cautious. There's other things that came about with that group that really, you were like, I need to stop. And for your own sanity and your own safety and your own mental health.
My own mental health. Oh my God.
But now we find parties now. Actually, we set up a gangbang for you,
Yes.
and I worked with someone on FET to do that, and I ended up doing most of the work actually for that. But in the gangbang, one of the guys that showed up for the gangbang actually hosts parties,
Yes.
and he invited us to his party, and we never had the chance to go because it was always like we didn't have the money, we didn't have the time, and finally we're like, yeah, fuck it, he's got a party coming up, let's go,
Right?
let's go see how it is. The difference in the atmosphere was night and day. I can't even say night and day because it was even more so than that.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Like, we went in there, and this guy, he is a professional host. Like, he is introducing us to everyone around. We know who everyone is, and if we don't know, he's bringing new people in. Every time anyone new came in, he's like, this is who this is, everyone. Anyone wants to talk to him, this is their dynamic. He tells people what people's dynamics are and stuff. And he has alcohol, but it's a very limited alcohol, and he will cut people off as well. The other thing is the party with the Colombian explosion, that group, those were free parties.
Yes.
So they were free. And the ones with this other guy, there is a fee. There is a cover fee to get into this party. And he also does vetting. He goes through the vetting process as well. We know that. And a lot of times, because we've been to a couple of his parties now, a lot of times you'll see the same people. It's the same people at the party, so you get to know these people more,
Right.
and you're more comfortable with them and comfortable around them. And it's just the whole time, the whole vibe is just fantastic. Like, he's coming, he's checking on people. You could have a guy balls deep in you, and he goes, "Everything okay? We're doing okay in here. Does anyone need anything? We have more lube. We have condoms. We have, anyone need some water? I'll bring some water in."
Yes.
And then at the end, once you're done, or you need to, he cleans up too. He'll come in, he's stripping beds, he's cleaning everything down, he's wiping stuff down and making sure everyone's comfortable and safe. And it's just a very nice environment to be in. It's a very comfortable environment, especially for you who,
Yeah.
when we go into parties, we tell people, if I meet them on FET or something like that beforehand, or even on Reddit, if they're going to come to a party and they happen to be on FET Life as well, I'll tell them, hey, if you see us there, come up to us, say hi, talk to us. We may not go to you, and it's not because we're ignoring you. We are fairly not antisocial, but we come across as antisocial because we're just very nervous when we start off. It takes us a minute to ramp up and to get comfortable.
Right. It takes you a moment to kind of get situated. It takes me quite a bit longer.
So 2 hours into the party, you're situated. No, it's not that long. It's not that long. But it takes you a lot longer. And I've actually, well, the way I see it, envision it, or not envision it, but the way I see it and perceive it is, you become more comfortable as I get more comfortable. So as I'm going and I get more comfortable and I start talking to more people, you become more comfortable because now I'm introducing you to people and we're talking to more people as a group, and we'll talk to other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I do kind of take control of you a little bit at parties now, because you give me the control to we're going to talk to this person now, so we're just going to go over here and talk to this person. You're like, okay, we'll go talk to this person over here.
Yes.
And that's actually working out really well for us. I think we've met some really nice people at these parties. Now, the one that I'm talking about it's mainly a single guy party, and couples are invited to be there as well. But for the most part, it's for single guys. So we do play with single guys. We enjoy it, and I have a lot of fun watching you. I do enjoy watching you. So much so that I have to film it and then watch it again later. But that's just me. I think that's about it for parties. What do you think? Do you want?
I mean, I know I've read some articles where there's some back and forth as to like whether or not paying for a party somehow makes the party better.
There are some people in the community, even on like Reddit or even FetLife, and they are 100% like, you should not have to pay at all for the parties. Parties should be free. Everyone should just be allowed to go. And in our experience, free is not necessarily better.
It's not, and like I can understand the concern, because sometimes the prices can get very high, and especially if you're a single guy.
Oh, single guy prices sometimes are outrageous, and I feel for you guys. I really do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I've seen parties with single guys advertised like on Fet, and it's like $150 for them to come into this party, and you're like, do you want people to show up? Because that's a lot of money,
Right? It's a lot of money, and so like.
Even couples were like $50-$60 depending on which party it is.
And that's a cheap party.
That's a cheap party. Some of them are $100 for couples.
Yeah.
And like $200 or more for like a single guy. And it's always single ladies are free. It's almost always like single women are free. That's how you know they're unicorns. There aren't that many out there. They're very rare because they're free.
Because they're free, yes. But yeah, if like especially with our experience with free parties, it's hard not to equate a free party with a lack of vetting.
Yes.
And I understand just slapping a price point and a fee does not make for vetting.
A lot of for the parties we go to, the fee is there, but it also has to be paid by a certain time.
Yes.
So by this time, and he also has on his thing, like, as we get closer, the price goes up by $10 for everyone the closer we get. So he doesn't have people showing up at the door out of nowhere that night.
Yeah, and a head count is very important, especially with this type of party.
He keeps it fairly
knowing
low.
How many people you're going to have
and
knowing who's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
These things are incredibly important especially as a safety concern.
Yeah, you got to have, he has also other people. He doesn't play. That's the other thing. The free parties we were going to, the host was also playing. She was playing at the party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And anyone out there, if you ever go to a party and the host is playing and there's no one else that's been assigned or designated in charge of this party, that's a problem.
Yes. That is a problem.
You want to there has to be someone who is in charge at all times in case it goes tits up.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure there's someone that you can go to and say, this stops, it shuts it down. And he also has like security there. He has people that he's designated security so they can remove people. If anyone gets rowdy or you're too drunk or something like that, they can remove people from the party. And those are important things. So if we were talking about the debate as to whether or not free or paid is better, I'm going to say paid. I'm going to go with paid.
I still, again, and this is based on our experiences, which, to some degree are limited, but in every instance, it really has been, you get what you pay for. Now, the argument can obviously easily be made that some of these more expensive fees are just
outrageous.
price.
Some of them are just outrageous.
Right, just outrageous. But it's not unreasonable to charge a fee for a party.
It's not, but like I've seen parties where like they've sounded interesting and then they're like $400.
Yeah,
like
no.
There is. I don't care if you get gangbanged by 20 guys and I have a 20 girl gangbang on me. It's still not going to be worth $400 for the night. We could fuck everyone at that party multiple times. It still wouldn't be worth $400 as far as I'm concerned. Like, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Like an hour. So, and that's just ridiculous. But then, you get clubs and stuff like that. We have memberships and they use it to keep people out. and keep their numbers, and they have to make sure their numbers and stuff. And it's a
But
safety thing. For them.
Again, it's a safety thing. It's knowing who's there. It's knowing what the head count is, and it's also paying to maintain some of these.
Well, yeah, like the guy that does it, he pays for, like, he's using it to pay for the stuff he puts out, the food, the alcohol, the waters and stuff like that.
The condoms.
Condoms can be expensive for people, especially if you're supplying for 20, 30, 40 people or so. That can get expensive after a while. And the cleaning supplies and everything like that. So
yeah. Having the extra bedding.
Yeah, he has a lot of extra bedding too. So he comes in probably like once every half hour, just changes sheets in full bedding. He's got plastic on the beds. He's changing sheets, and he's spraying down the beds and wiping them down. So it's a process, And I think he also pays the people that do the security too. So he's got a pretty tight ship going, and I like going to his parties, and hopefully we get to go to some more of them. I think we're going to go to another one next month, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Mm-hmm. And that'll be a lot of fun, too.
Yeah.
But I think that's about what we have for parties right now. We will definitely be coming back to parties again as we talk.
Yes.
As we go through, we have more experiences. We're going to have
more about clubs.
Yes, definitely more clubs. I'd like to talk more about clubs. Maybe next time we'll talk some more about clubs. We'll talk about Montreal, which is fantastic. But for now, I think we'll let you guys go, and hopefully you'll come back and listen to us laugh with each other, and hopefully laugh with you guys as well. Hopefully next week we'll do our best to get another episode out by next week, and we'll see you again.